Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this series of lectures of chromatography, this is the third lecture and this lecture will contain ion exchange chromatography. Up to now we have seen a principle of chromatography, classification of chromatography as well as column chromatography. In this particular video lecture, we will learn about ion exchange chromatography. Friends, there are many applications of ion exchange chromatography. It can be used for laboratory separation, purification of water, extraction of metal ions, and treatment of high cost pharmaceutical derivatives. Friends, for that purpose, we need to learn what is ion exchange chromatography. First, we will see the principle of ion exchange chromatography. In this type of chromatography, the separation of the components are achieved by the exchange of ions between stationary solid phase called as ion exchanger and the components present into the mobile phase. So in this type of chromatography, the name itself indicates ion exchange. So this ion exchange takes place into stationary phase and mobile phase. Stationary phase and mobile phase. Mobile phase contains our ions, metal ions to be separated, and stationary phase has some ions to be exchanged with these cations. Thus, the ion exchange is the process in which the interchange of the ions of similar charges or like signs takes place between the solution and essentially insoluble solid, that is called as ion exchanger, in contact with the solution. So solution contains various types of ions. So these ions will be exchanged with the ion exchanger which are present in the stationary phase or which acts as a stationary phase. This technique is useful for the separation of ions or compounds of similar properties. The ion exchanges are insoluble in substances which binds ions in such a way that the ions may be easily reversibly replaced by the other ions from the solution when brought in contact with the ion exchanger. It is a kind of adsorption chromatography. So ion exchange chromatography is a adsorption type of chromatography, while this exchange of ions between solution and stationary phase, that is ion exchanger, that is called as adsorption type of chromatography. For this ion exchange chromatography, we need a solid stationary phase, that is ion exchangers. So ion exchangers, for the ion exchange, so there are various types of exchangers are there. Friends, now we'll see what is ion exchangers. So these are the solids, also called as resins, which have high molecular weight. They must fulfill following conditions. So ion exchangers are the solids that is called as resins with high molecular weights. These resins must be sufficiently cross-linked to have only negligible solubility in water. So there should be some type of polymerization, cross-linking in between these molecules. So there will be negligible or less soluble into the water. Cross-linking increases the rigidity of this resin. This cross-linking increases the rigidity of the resins and reduces swelling, reduces porosity and reduces the solubility of the resin into water. So whatever the cross-linking is present into the resins, that decreases the swelling, porosity and solubility into the water of that particular resin. The resin must contain sufficient number of accessible ion exchange groups. So this is the ion exchange chromatography. So there should be some functional groups that should available for the ion exchange. So those are the functional group. The availability of that functional group should be more or sufficient number, so that ion exchange will be possible in between resin and the solution. The resin must be hydrophilic to permit the diffusion of ions through the structure of finite and usable rate. See, this resin must be hydrophilic. Then only the exchange between ions of the stationary phase and solution will take place. If resin is hydrophobic, then what will happen? There is no interaction between stationary phase and mobile phase which contains ions. The swollen region must be denser than water. So while this process of ion exchange that absorbs some type of some solution, some water from the mobile phase. So the resin getting swelled. So while this solent resin, their density should be high. So it should be denser than the water. Otherwise this resin will float on the water, then exchange will not be possible and separation will not be possible in a column chromatography, that is ion exchange column chromatography. Right. So solent resin must be denser than water. It should be present at the bottom while this chromatography takes place. The resin should be chemically stable. This is the very important. Whatever the resin we are going to use, that should not react with the solution as well as our ions, so that it should not form a stable complex. So then what will happen? Whatever the ions present with that solution, that will get reacted with the resin and stable complex will form. So there will be no separation at all. For that purpose, the resin should be chemically stable. Resin must not have cavities big enough to allow easily escape of ions. So ion should not be escaped from the resin. For that purpose, whatever the cavity is present into the resin, that should not be very big. Now we'll see the classification of ion exchanges. Ion exchanges are generally classified into two groups. Mainly, one is cation exchanges, they exchange the cations, and anion exchanges, they exchange the anions. So ion exchange chromatography, for that purpose, if we are using some resins, ion exchanges or solid stationary phase, that are of two types. One is cation exchanges, as name itself indicates that is used for the exchange of cations from the solution and from the resin. While the anion exchanges can exchange the anions. The most common functional group which are present in the ion exchange regions are, so cation exchanges, to exchange the cations, so there should be some acidic functional group. So sulfonic acid group, carboxylic acid group, OH, SH, or dihydrogen phosphate. So in this way, this functional group must be present in the cation exchange resins or cation exchangers. While in case of anion exchanges, it should be basic, right? So for that purpose, they should contain primary amines, secondary amines, tertiary amines, or salt of tertiary amines. So likewise, this functional group should be present into the ion exchanges. Now we'll see what are cation exchanges in details. They are the polymers which contains acidic functional group like sulfonic acid functional group, carboxylic acid functional group. In just last slide we have seen, as an integral part of the resin, and an equivalent amount of cations. So whatever the amount of cations we have to remove, according to that we have to select the cation resins. So for that purpose, a sufficient amount of functional group must be present for the cation exchanges. The groups from which ions can be exchanged are known as exchange sites. So whatever these functional groups are called as exchange sites, because on these sites only the exchange of ions is taking place. The cation exchange regions contains ions which are capable of exchanging cations, the flowing into the solution. The cation exchanges regions exchanges the cations from the solution without altering the major physical properties of the resin. So it should not be reacted with the ions. There should not be any change in physical property of the resin. It's just solent, it's okay, but there should not be any physical property change into the resin. That resin must be or should be stable. The exchange behavior can be shown as, this is the reaction which takes place at the exchange sites. So exchange sites, so cation exchanges contain acidic functional group, so it has a H plus ions to be exchanged. Cation exchanges, so this is useful for the exchange of cations. So suppose this is metal cation, so what will happen? There is a separation, there is an exchange between this H and M. So resin will take this metal ion, while this H plus ion move into the solution, right? So this exchange will take place in this solution where M plus is a cation and R minus is a resin anion. The commercially available resins generally contain sodium ion in place of H plus ion, and this increases the exchange ability of the resin. Cation exchanges resins are further classified into two classes. First one is strong acid resin, which contains polystyrene sulfonic acid resins, while weak acid resins that contains a polymethyl acrylic acid resins. So polymethyl acrylic acid resins are the weak acid resins, while polystyrene sulfonic acid resins are a strong acid resins. Now we'll see one by one. First one is a strong acid resins, that is polystyrene sulfonic acid resin. So it contains a sulfonic acid groups. They contains a highly ionizable group like sulfonic acid. The exchange capacity of this strong acid is less. So exchange capacity of this sulfonic acid group is less. The resin is effective over the wide range of pH from 1 to 14. So at any pH you can use in acid as well as salt form. Strong acid resin completely removes the cations of even a very weak base. So this strong acid resins can be capable of exchange of cations from the very weak base. So either very alkaline condition is there or very weak base is also there. The strong acid resins are useful for the exchange of cations. These resins are useful for the separation of amino acids. So these are the uses. These resins can be used for the separation of amino acids, rare earth metals, in vitamins, polypeptides, peptides, etc. A polystyrene polymer cross-linked within the divinyl benzene and sulfonated further is an example of strong acid resin. So polystyrene polymer, whatever is present, that is cross-linked with the divinyl benzene and sulfonated further. It is an example of strong acid resin. So these are the some commercially available strong acid resins. So certain strong acid resins sold under the trade names like Dow X50, Umberlite IR120, Doelite C20. So these are the important strong acid resins which are commercially available into the market. Now we'll see weak acid resins. So it contains a polymethyl acrylic acid resins. They contains a partially unionizable group like carboxylic acid. So carbonic acid is unionizable, partially ionizable, weak acid. Okay. So exchange capacity of the weak acid resin is generally more than the strong acid resin. So exchange capacity of this weak acid is more as compared to that strong acid resin. The resin is effective over the limited range, that is 5 to 14. So less acidic or basic conditions this can be used. The resin is effective over the limited pH range, that is 5 to 14 in acid as well as salt form. So it can be present into acid form as well as salt form. The weak acid resin does not remove completely cation of very weak base. Strong acid removes all the cations, capable to remove all the cations, while weak acid resin is not completely removes the cations of very strong base. So in case of very weak base. So in case of weak base, these weak acid resins are not very effective. This is similar to the incompleteness of weak acid weak base reaction. So these resins are useful for the separation of transition metal acids, antibiotics and organic bases. So use of these cation exchanges is to separate the transition metal acids, antibiotics and organic bases, etc. So these are the some commercially available weak acid resins. So certain weak acid resins sold under the trade names are like Umberlite IRC50, Permeate H70 and Rexine 10. So these are the names, trade names of a weak acid resins. Now we'll see anion exchangers. They are the polymers which contains primary amines, secondary amines or quaternary ammonium groups as an integral part of the resin and an equivalent amount of the anions. So whatever the anions to be exchanged, according to that equivalent amount of this amine functional group are present into the resin. The groups from which ion can be exchanged are known as exchange sites. So whatever these functional groups where the ion exchange takes place, that is called as ion exchange sites or exchange sites. The anion exchange resin contains ions which are capable for exchanging anions flowing into the solution without altering the major physical properties of the resin. So while this exchange takes place between the solution and resin, so the physical properties of the resin should not be changed, that should be stable. This is the reaction which takes place at the exchange site. The exchange behavior can be shown as, suppose this is ammonium hydroxide salt, this is the resin, so it is used for the exchange of anions. So anion which is present in the solution, so there will be exchange, this anion taken by this resin and forms a salt, while this OH ions is going into the solution. So this is the reaction takes place at exchange site. In a solution where A minus is anion, so in solution this A minus is anion is present, while Rn3, this is the ammonium group, R ammonium group is a resin cation. So anion exchange of resin is further classified into two types. So again this anion exchange is also classified into two types. Strong base resins, so those are polystyrene quaternary ammonium resins, and weak base resins, those are polystyrene tertiary amine resins. Now we'll start with the anion exchanges which are strong base resins, so which contains polystyrene quaternary ammonium resins. Now these resins contains highly ionizable groups like ammonium chloride, ammonium hydroxide. The exchange capacity of this strong base resin is less. The resin is effective over the pH range, that is 0 to 12 in basic as well as salt form. So these resins are very effective in 0 to 12 pH, that may be in basic form or salt form. These resins are useful for the fractionation of halogen, alkaloids, vitamin B12 complexes, vitamin B complexes, fatty acids, etc. So these resins are useful for the separation of halogens, alkaloids, vitamin B complexes and fatty acids. These resins with positively charged quaternary ammonium groups are attached to the cross-linked polystyrene framework, belongs to this class. That's why these are called as polystyrene quaternary ammonium resins. These are the some commercially available strong base resins. So some strong base resins sold under the trade names like Dovex 1, Amberlite IRA 400, Permetit S1. These are the some of the examples of strong base resins. Now we see about weak base resins. So weak base resins contains polystyrene tertiary amine resins. The tertiary amines resins are the polyamines resins. Sometimes they have a mixture of primary, secondary and tertiary amine groups on the polystyrene network. The weak base resins are effective in a pH range that is 0 to 9. The exchange capacity of weak base is more than the strong base resin. These resins are useful for the fractionation of anions, vitamins or amino acids. So these weak base resins are useful for the separation of anions, vitamins or amino acids. These are the some weak base resins sold under the trade names like Dovex 3, Amberlite IR45, Permetit W. These are the some weak base resins which are available into the market commercially. So these are the types of ion exchangers, their activities and all those things. In this slide we will learn about the types of ion exchange reagents and their some trade names in only one slide. So here, suppose these are the type of exchanges. So for cation exchange, so it is strong acid resin, weak acid resin, so which contains a sulfonic acid group. Strong acid resin contains a sulfonic acid group as a functional group SO3H, and the trade names like Dovex 50, Underlight, Umberlite IR120, Doelite C20, while weak acid resins for the cation exchange, which contains a carboxylic acid as a functional group, and the trade names like Umberlite IRC50, Permeate H70, Rexine 102. For anion exchangers, these are the again two types: strong base resin, strong base exchangers, so which contains a quaternary ammonium salt. So these are the functional group, which trade names are like Dovex1, Umberlite IR8, 400, Permeate S1. While weak base resins, which contains amine functional group, that is primary amine, secondary amine or tertiary amine, the trade names like Dovex3, Umberlite IR45, Permeate W. म्हणजे बघा या स्लाइडमध्ये तुम्हाला पूर्णपणे क्लासिफिकेशन दिलेले आहे, त्यांचे ट्रेड नेम्स पण दिले, त्यांचे फंक्शनल ग्रुप पण दिलेत. सो इन वन स्लाइड यू विल गेट ऑल द आयडियाज अँड देअर डिफरन्शिएशन. The exchange of cations or anions is governed by the factors such as charge on ion, size of the anion or ion, functional group of the resin, degree of cross-linking of the resin, exchange capacity of the resin, and pH of the solution. So these are the factors which affects the separation of the components which are present in the solution. So that are the charge on ions, which are the charge is present on the ion, either 1 positive charge, 2 positive charge, 3 positive charge. What is the size, what is the radius of that particular ion, what are the functional group present on the resin, and degree of cross-linking which is present in the resin, exchange capacity of the resin. Various exchange capacity depends upon the whatever the class, and what is the pH of the solution. These are the factors affecting the ion exchange chromatography. Now we'll see the methods of separation, practical, how to do the separation. Friends, this is like a column chromatography. Instead of stationary phase like silica gel, we had to fill the column with ion exchange resin, and the mixture in the form of solution is poured onto it, is allowed to percolate. Then the second solvent, that is called as eluent, is added and allowed to percolate. So see here, this is the column, again similar like column chromatography. तुम्हाला ब्युरेट सारखं तुम्हाला ग्लासवेअर घ्यायचं आहे, इथे कॉटन ठेवायचं का टू रेस्ट्रिक्ट द फ्लोइंग ऑफ दिस रेझिन, आणि इथे तुम्हाला अजून कॉटन ठेवायचं टू स्टेबलाइज दिस रेझिन लेयर्स, सो सेपरेशन विल बी इझियर. आणि कॉलम सारखंच तुम्हाला वरतून सोल्युशन टाकायचं आहे, सोल्युशन टाकल्यानंतर सॉल्वंट टाकायचं, दॅट सॉल्वंट इज कॉल्ड एज इल्युएटिंग सॉल्वंट. ओके, द एक्सचेंज प्रोसेस takes place according to what are the types of resins and what are the types of ions or cations which are present to the solution. So in cation exchange resins, this is the reaction will takes place. So resin contains H plus ions, while solution contains metal cations. So there will be exchange into the solution. Metal cations goes to the resin while H plus comes into the solution. In anion exchange resins, this is the reaction will takes place. So ammonium hydroxide is present. This hydroxide is exchanged with the anions which are present into the solution. Now OH minus ions going into the solution. So these are the reactions will takes place according to which types of ion exchange resins we are using into the column. Due to difference in ability of the resin to exchange the ions, so this exchange is continuously going on. It's like adsorption and disadsorption. It's like a adsorption, disadsorption takes place into the column chromatography. So due to difference in ability of the resin to exchange the ions, separation of the ions takes place on the resin. Some ions are exchanged quickly, they remains on the top. So whatever ions getting exchanged quickly, so what will happen, this M plus forms a bond with this resin. So what will happen, they remains on the top, they remains on the top of the column. And some ions which exchanged later, so they will come flow with the solution, and so they come down and they held by the lower position of the resins. Thus there is a stepwise exchange of ions between resin and components of the mixture which is present in the solution. Stepwise exchange between the solution and resin, this is continuously going on. If this resin exchanged quickly, then it comes slowly. If this exchange is slower, then what will happen, these anions flow with the solution eluent and comes faster. So whatever the जे ions फास्टली एक्सचेंज होतात ते स्लो येतील आणि जे स्लोली एक्सचेंज होतात ते फास्ट येतील. अँड दिस इज द प्रिन्सिपल टू बी सेपरेट आउट दिस components, these ions. Now we'll see some terms which is associated with this ion exchange chromatography. First one is elution. So the process of removing the exchanged ions by washing the solution is called as elution. Right. So elution, it's like a process of removing exchanged ions by using the eluent solution, that is called as elution. Eulate, the solution used to elution as a eluent, and the solution coming out from the column is called as eulate. So whatever the solution is coming out from the column, it's called as eulate, right? Whatever the solution you are putting into the column, that is called as eluent, and this process is called as elution, right? या प्रोसेसला काय म्हणायचं, इव्हल्युशन. जे सोल्युशन कॉलम मधून बाहेर येईल त्याला काय म्हणायचं, इव्हल्युएट. आणि जे सोल्युशन वापरतात या कॉलम क्रोमॅटोग्राफीसाठी किंवा आयन एक्सचेंज क्रोमॅटोग्राफीसाठी त्याला म्हणतात इव्हल्युएंट. The eluent generally contains a complexing agent which forms a complex with the ions displaced. Now what are the applications of ion exchange chromatography? There are many applications of this ion exchange chromatography. It can be used for the laboratory separations, purification of water, extraction of metals, and treatment of high cost pharmaceutical derivatives. So we shall describe only a typical applications of ion exchange chromatography, such as separation of metal ions on the anion exchange column, separation of amino acids, that is effect of pH, and purification of water. So these are the three applications which is included into our syllabus. So in next video lecture we will see the applications of ion exchange chromatography. Thank you friends.